what's going on, toxic gamers? So apparently the Battlefield refugees are excited once again. The toxic gamers, right? That's what they like to call us as, just because we want a good game. As soon as you voice your opinion saying that you want a good Battlefield game or good Call of Duty or a good game in general, they would label you as a toxic gamer. But what just happened is kind of crazy, right? Just the other day we had like a a disgruntled employee coming out saying that the next Battlefield game is gonna be apparently bad. But now we got some gameplay leaks and details that I want to actually get into. Shout out to Video Game Leaks. Roll it. Let's find out.
All right, guys. Wes here. Welcome back.
And like the video if you do not want specialists in this game this time around. I want to know where you guys at. Okay, roll it.
To the channel, and today we just got exciting news for Battlefield 6, which is set to be the newest installment in the Battlefield franchise. Well, according to a new leak from insider Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming, they confirmed some rather exciting news. Playtests are happening, and they might be happening sooner than you think, so without further delay, let's go ahead and dive into all of the details, because this news is surely going to excite you. So jumping into the Insider Gaming report, they had this to say: exclusive, Battlefield 6 is undergoing franchise's biggest playtest ever to prevent another disastrous launch. The article starts off by saying this, and I quote, Battlefield players have had a reasonably tough time with the franchise these past few years. 2018's Battlefield 5 launch was a disaster, but 2021's Battlefield 2042 was worse, pushing a lot of Battlefield fans away from the franchise.
I just cannot compute the fact that Battlefield 2042 came out back in 2021 and we're in 2025. Holy smokers, it ain't no jokers. And yeah, back in 2021, I mean, it seems like yesterday, fellas. It seems like yesterday when we had that, right? User score of 2.1. People really give this game that. Mostly negative. Right now, of course, the score gotta be higher. Yeah, I'm not sure how much the score is, but at the time, shit, man, this game, and I remember playing it like 2-3 months ago, and Battlefield 2042 ain't that bad. Right now, it ain't that bad. If you play it without any expectations, it ain't that bad. But of course, like, it's, I mean, if you're gonna compare it with something like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, then it ain't it. It ain't it. But gameplay wise, generally kind of right now though.
Franchise. But now, with just a year until the next major installment in the Battlefield universe set to release, EA and DICE have a lot of making up to do, which, if we're being honest, that has to be the understatement of the year. The Insider Gaming article then went on to say this: officially, EA has said all of the usual buzzwords you'd come to expect in its financial calls to promote the next game, from quote innovation to quote groundbreaking. An interview with IGN earlier this year with head honcho Vince Zampella confirmed Insider Gaming's past reports that the franchise was taking a back to its roots approach with 64 players, all-out destruction, and a modern setting. It all looks promising on paper, yet the scars of the past still burn today with its community, and fans of the franchise are still apprehensive about the future. Considering the franchise's last two blunders, it's understandable, but this time EA and DICE seem to be all in on ensuring it doesn't happen a third time. The report continues with them saying, on a funding front, the next
third time's the charm, and if it actually happens this time, bro, EA is gonna pull the plug, man. EA is gonna pull the plug, and that's your Battlefield right there. Like, yeah, and check this one out. So apparently Call of Duty on Steam peaked at only 84,000 players for Black Ops 6 Season 2 launch. In comparison to Modern Warfare 3 Season 2 launch, we peaked at 154,000 players. Oh shit! Call of Duty is having a tough time. It's now or never. Last time when Call of Duty could have, or I should say Battlefield when it could have, the last time when Battlefield could have killed Call of Duty was around the time of Infinite Warfare. But guess what? Activision said, psych! And they dropped the Modern Warfare remaster alongside it. I need your cuff.
Battlefield has the most resources in the franchise's history. 4 studios.
Yeah, so this is it's now or never, man. And it's supposedly coming out this year, but you guys gotta understand that we're also getting GTA 6. Right, I really hope this game is not gonna drop in the middle of Call of Duty and GTA 6, man. If this game if they want to succeed with this game, number 1, make a good game. Number 2, make a good Battlefield game. Number 3, just make a solid and amazing game. And this is very important, all right? Don't drop it in the middle of GTA 6 and the next Call of Duty. Maybe in the middle of Call of Duty, okay, but not GTA 6 though.
Studios are currently working on Battlefield, DICE, Motive, Criterion Games, and Ripple Effect. More importantly, EA and its studios seem more interested in gaining player feedback this time around. Of course, it's not uncommon for games to have playtests during development. Almost every game has them at one point or another, but this time around, things are a lot different. Sources say that playtests with external players are happening much more frequently than in past installments, and the amount of data and feedback collected is the most the franchise has seen in its history. From small feedback sessions to large-scale player tests, Battlefield is now taking the much-needed player-first approach. It's an approach that we'll see continued to be played out coming to the start of the year too, as it's understood that EA and its studios have been eyeing up the return of the Battlefield community test environment, but to what scale that's incorporated at this time is...
I hope they hear our feedback of no specialists and no crazy microtransactions, destruction, and a game that's new, fun, and amazing to play while keeping the Battlefield essence to it, like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. We want a new game, but make no mistake, we don't want a new game like Battlefield 2042 or Battlefield 5, okay? We don't want that kind of new, all right? We don't want that kind of new, man. We don't want to, and listen, man, if it turns out like, because I'll link you that video, because one of the disgruntled employee, and we did a video on it recently, one of the disgruntled employee came out recently, and they said that their goal is to drop a new game this year, as we expected, and we're not gonna have another Battlefield game till 2027, so we're not gonna get in 2026, but we're gonna get it 2 years from now. And once we have this game, and they have a break from a new game next year, so new Battlefield this year, 2026 we're not getting it, and starting 2027 we're gonna be getting yearly Battlefield game like Call of Duty, according to that report. And I'll link you that video, don't worry about it. If it's true, insane. And the guy was claiming they saw how much money Call of Duty is making, and they hired like Call of Duty CEOs, not necessarily CEO, but CEOs, but they hired like the Call of Duty devs, some of the higher ups at Call of Duty, and they essentially want to go crazy with microtransactions. That's what was reported in that report too. They basically saw Call of Duty numbers and they got jelly. They saw these numbers, guys, by the way, and they got jelly. And the sad reality is that Battlefield struggles to pull numbers like that, right? So yeah, I mean, even at Battlefield's best, I would say Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and even Battlefield 1, when Call of Duty was down big time with Infinite Warfare, everybody talked trash about that game. I remember back in 2016, right, when that trailer dropped, oh, hell no, man. Oh, man, that was crazy times. I was in high school at that time, okay? I remember I had a science class that day, and these cheeky, or I should say, those twats and those cheeky bastards, they drop a Modern Warfare Remastered trailer alongside it, man, to hype up, to butter up because they knew people not gonna buy that trash. They knew it was bad, so they had to come out with with Modern Warfare Remastered. And shit, man, even Battlefield 1 with all that hype, and Battlefield 1 is an amazing game, bro. I love that battle. That was like the last solid amazing Battlefield game. And before that, I would say Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, right? Before that, Bad Company 2. In fact, what came before Battlefield 4? Battlefield 3, which was amazing. Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. What came before Battlefield 3 was Bad Company 2, which was also amazing. Point is that they were on a roll, and ever since, you know, the woke culture, DEI nonsense, this and that, which is a contributing factor, and on top, the biggest contributing factor is they're trying to chase the dragon with Call of Duty sales, and Call of Duty is also chasing the dragons, don't get me wrong, and they all saw Fortnite, bro. They all saw Fortnite live service, microtransactions, battle passes, the skins, the specialists, the operators, the bundles. They all saw that, and that's also what's killing Battlefield, Call of Duty, and the modern day gaming, because they're focusing so much, they're so greedy, they're focusing so much on chasing the profits than chasing players in terms of, hey, let's make a good game, and the game is gonna chase the players. You know what I mean? They don't want none of that. They just want to make, okay, quick, yeah, let's make, how can we make a mobile game but for console, essentially? How can we make a Fortnite, but let's not make it Fortnite, let's bring it to our good and healthy franchise, and let's kill it too, right? And I'm not like complaining about Fortnite here, I'm not like pointing my fingers at Fortnite. I mean, they're doing what they're doing and it's working for them, but it does not mean that, and you can be inspired off of it, but like these things could have been inspired off of making events like Fortnite, but for, let's just say, Call of Duty and Battlefield. We could have had like crazy level of events in Battlefield 2042, maybe like a huge ass destruction or crazy stuff like that. But nah, they chose the route of microtransactions. These suckers are hella insane, man, with that crap. And now we're hearing from that disgruntled employee, may or may not be true, hopefully not true, but let's be real, in this day and age, microtransactions are a given, so only time will tell us for sure. But I wanted to point that out, otherwise I would be lying through my teeth by saying that, yeah, it's all good guys, it's all good. I really hope, I mean, this year it's do or die for Battlefield, bruh. It's do or die, man. It's do or die.
Is unclear. All in all, Battlefield seems to be trying to mend the mistakes it's made, and with a return to a modern military shooter with destruction, 4 classes, and 64-player battles, EA could have a win on its hands. That being said, we're still a year-ish from release, and things can change, but so far, at least, Battlefield could be back, or at least for the sake of FPS gaming, I hope it ends up being a success. It's really weird not having a Battlefield game to currently play. I've been playing a lot of Delta Force, but it's just not as good as playing Battlefield. Jumping back into the article, there was a brand new update regarding the playtests that will be underway soon. They said Insider Gaming understands that playtests are ramping up again ahead of some big announcements for the game in the coming months. It's understood that playtests will test the game's multiplayer and Ripple Effects free-to-play Battle Royale offering. Next up, we have some news that according to...
Yeah, I mean, they gotta get rid of Battle Royale. I'm not a Battle Royale hater, but it's like... Yeah, right? Like, it's played out. And with Battle Royale, you guys already know microtransactions, specialists, operators, skins, and all that crap. You know, all that junk, man. All that DD junk. Yeah, miss me with that, bro. Miss me with that. What about the... You know what? Battlefield 2042 Portal mode, amazing. They had few mishaps with that. Yeah, let people rank up by playing that. Streamline Battlefield Portal mode and have more remaster maps alongside new maps though. Never make remaster maps, never prioritize remaster maps over new content, and have Portal mode or dinosaur mode for Battlefield, bro. That would be slapping. You know, we can have the survival mode for dinosaur. Battlefield always had those kind of dinosaurs Easter eggs. Those of you that are OG for Battlefield, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it could be that. That could be something unique. That could be something amazing. Make that good and free to play. And you never know, you might be the next big thing rather than chasing Battle Royale, bro. Because it's a dying breed right now. Not necessarily for Fortnite, at least currently, but I don't think it's gonna last for too long, or perhaps it's gonna, but I don't think it's gonna last, or it's gonna do amazing for games other than Fortnite. And yeah, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one.
To 80 level, a former DICE employee. The most of the devs on Battlefield 6 have never worked on Battlefield games before. In the article, they had this DICE employee. The most free-to-play Battle Royale offering. Next up, we have some news that according to 80 level, a former DICE employee, the most of the devs on Battlefield 6 have never worked on Battlefield games before. In the article, they had this to say, following the commercial and reputational underperformance of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, it became clear to everyone that DICE and Electronic Arts would need to rethink their approach to the legendary FPS series if they wanted to prevent it from becoming a thing of the past.
It's over, yo. It's over, man. It's over. And that was one of the point. I'll link to that video, don't worry. That was one of the point of that so-called leaker that a lot of the OG talent has pieced out, and mostly the new devs that are working on it, they don't have a clue, is what he allegedly, give or take, said. Oh man, please, bro, please. And apparently the next Battlefield game reveal is gonna be happening this summer, which is, I mean, shocker. So we're gonna have it this summer. We're gonna find out very soon, guys, very soon.
The extent of the changes to their strategy has recently been unveiled by a former DICE employee known as Risible, who shared a wealth of information about the studio's inner dealings and speculated about the upcoming Battlefield 6 and plans for the franchise as a whole. The previous Battlefield employee had this to say, the Battlefield section from EA's Investors Day has started to generate sparks of hype for the new game. It'll certainly be different because 98% of the people who made previous Battlefield games have left EA. Let me explain how DICE imploded and this new crew is trying to build things back up. He continued by saying, to understand today, let's first look back at when DICE was acquired by EA. At that time, DICE's CEO was a guy named Patrick Soderlund. He orchestrated the acquisition and was rewarded with a big paycheck and promoted to be head of all EA game studios worldwide. Continuing on the thread, he said Soderlund ran EA Studios out of the DICE office in Stockholm for 14 years. He was DICE's guy and protected the studio within EA's studio system. Early on, he was more involved in recruiting and creative decisions linked to DICE and older Battlefield games. Man. EA is set up with a central...
Why you gotta say DICE like that? DICE. Just say DICE. I thought he was gonna say DEI. Why did bro sounded like he was saying DEI, man?
HQ in San Francisco and game studios spread all over the world. Studios survive by keeping central EA out of their business. Studios fall apart when studio leadership can't stop central EA from meddling in creative tech and business decisions. Strong EA leaders protect their studios and weak ones get micromanaged to death. This is reason that so many of EA's studios have fallen apart. BioWare, Criterion, Maxis, PopCap, etc. DICE survived longer than most because Soderlund's favor protected them from EA's more intrusive meddling. It also helps that from DICE's acquisition in 2005 through 2016, DICE was putting out bangers like BF2, Bad Company 2, BF3, BF4, and BF1, consistently earning tons of money.
Bad Company 2 was what got me hooked on the series, and that was my very first FPS game. Same year I got into Black Ops as well, Black Ops 1, 2010. But Battlefield Bad Company 2, first Battlefield game, and also my very first FPS game. Oh man, those times were amazing. The game, I mean, back in 2010, that game was on 360, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and we still had destruction. We still had destruction back then. And the games were so good. We had actual factions, you know? It felt something. I remember my KD ratio, because it was my first FPS game. My KD ratio was 0.52. Bruh. Yeah, I remember that because it was so bad, right? With the snipers, but I still was using snipers because I loved the, you know, the gravity, the recoil, or the bullet trail, the bullet drop off, you know. And Battlefield 3, oh man, that even they try to make that even bullet drop off even more realistic, even though it's not, but they tried at least, you know. And the game was just ridiculously fun. I remember Medal of Honor too. Medal of Honor was so good. The 2010 version, there was some about it, and that game, looking back, it was so bare bones but yet so effective. It also had kill streaks, not like Call of Duty per se, but it had like kill streak, and that was so addicting. I remember that. And the campaign was also good, but for the most part I just played multiplayer. Medal of Honor Warfighter, I believe, came out 2013 or 2012, and that game was so bad that it just killed the entire franchise, and they shut down Medal of Honor. The only reason they have not shut down Battlefield is because they know it has a big player base, but I would not be shocked if this time, if the game does not do well, they're probably gonna shut it down, guys. Or maybe it's gonna be like, okay, game failed this year, let's try one last time, and if it fails again, then they're gonna shut it down. But I don't fully believe they're gonna shut down Battlefield. I know this is something that you guys think about. I think about it too, that's why I brought it up. But Battlefield, yeah, right, the name is there, the name is big enough, like the normies know about it, right? It's like Call of Duty. It never has beaten Call of Duty, and I wish it did back in, yeah, right, because but now it's now or never. It's now or never, bro. If it turns out bad this year, it's over, because generally speaking, the Battlefield fan base is usually older folks, all right, generally. And guess what, even the general Call of Duty, the OG Call of Duty player is also getting older. You know, we're all getting older, and people are generally, we're all fed up with bad games and filled with microtransactions, woke politics too on the side. Okay, forget woke politics for a second, but bad games filled with bugs at launch, battle passes, microtransactions, you know, campaigns being subpar too nowadays. Sometimes we don't even have campaigns, right? Yeah, right. So people are fed up, and we're all getting older, and the tolerance levels are just decreasing daily based off of the bullshit that we have to endure and take in. No Diddy, pause right there. But yeah, so
he makes it easier for an EA studio to tell the rest of EA to go away. The DICE leadership change in 2016 is where problems started. The DICE GM, Patrick Bach, who was EP on BF3 and general manager during BF4, left DICE. Publicly, this was a mutual parting, with Soderlund wishing Bach well.
That's when it went to shit. You know, 2016 is when Battlefield 1 came out. That was the last very good, solid Battlefield game in the series. And after that, it went to shit. It went to shit.
On future endeavors. Within the studio, there were rumors that Bach was kicked out due to inappropriate behavior. The post continues with them saying Bach was the last pre-acquisition employee to lead DICE. Soderlund's new pick for GM was Oscar Gabrielson, the young charismatic founder of Uprise, an Uppsala-based studio acquired by EA and most notable for building Battlelog. Like Soderlund, Oscar was a founder who successfully sold out to EA. 3 flops in 3 years was enough for EA CEO Andrew Wilson. Soderlund left EA right before the BFE launch and shortly founded Embark Games. The thread continued with further explanation about how DICE has kind of fell apart, but he ended the thread by saying this: if you're a Battlefield fan, temper your expectations. This is a new era of the game, made by a completely new group of people, following a new philosophy.
Yeah, it's over, boys. It really is over. Or maybe not. I still want to give it the benefit of the doubt. All I'm gonna say here is that never pre-order. I get it, like, I mean, it's your money at the end of the day. I should not be saying like that. But if you want the game to be good, don't pre-order. Or if you want to, if you're a YouTuber, content creator, okay, in that way, I'm sorry guys, but I'm not trying to like single out people here, but it's true, right? Like if you are a YouTuber, content creator, I'm not saying that because I'm doing it. Like you can look at my channel, like I'm starting to branch out the content, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing other stuff too, right? But I'm just trying to be honest with it. Like if you're making money, then maybe, yeah, you gotta pre-order. But here's the thing, don't pre-order the second the game is announced. You can pre-order the game, let's just say 2 days before the game Okay, and then of course you don't have to do it, but if you want the game to be good, and if you believe that you would deserve more, because I do believe you deserve, and we all deserve better than the piece of junks, piece of trash games that we're getting nowadays, pre-order the game 2-3 days before. And you can always pre-download. It's not like the game's going away. I mean, if you're a content creator, chances are either you're gonna get early codes or copies from Battlefield DICE. Okay, and that way you're not spending your money. Therefore, you don't have to pre-order or buy the game. Okay, there goes. Case closed. But if you're up-and-coming content creator and you're like looking to stream day one or maybe do the New Zealand method, okay, on that part, I understand. Pre-order the game 2-3 days before, and you can pre-download the game and then stream the game as soon as it's out. Right? Instead of pre-ordering months and months in advance and giving them your money and then later finding out the game was so bad and you're hella disappointed. At least when you're closer to the launch, then you can make your decision whether you want to buy it or not. I think that's way better. And of course, we're always going to have free betas and all that, so you can try that or get a code, or I guess pre-order when the beta is out, and then you can cancel your pre-order. I'm not sure if you can do that on PlayStation though. Right, like on PlayStation, those suckers are crazy, man. The second you download 1 kilobytes of data, that's it. You can never get your refund unless your game is as bad as Cyberpunk, how Cyberpunk was at launch. Right now, of course, it's in a good state, but when it first came out, right, that's when Sony, they broke their bro code and they started refunding everybody, right? They removed the game from the store too. Unless your game is like Cyberpunk when it was at launch, yeah, forget about getting your refund. So I hope it's good. And this is that dev that actually talked about the gameplay stuff, the game being bad, them chasing microtransaction, Call of Duty numbers. Click on this video on the screen and I'll see you right there. This is that video, bro. This is really that video. If you've already seen it, then check out the last UFO video that we've done on the channel. Insane stuff that's going on in the 6, boys. Check it out and I'll see you there.